family and community at Laycock. Welcome to the final day of the first half term of this academic year. We have completed it, we've got through it, and it has been a jam-packed term full of some amazing things. I wanted to do a really quick wrap-up of lots of different things that we've achieved and that we're proud of this half term, so we can share it with you. Then I'm going to move on to some things that we've got to look forward to ready for next half term. So in the last week, we have had everything and anything from Laycock Fun Run Days in Highbury Fields. We've had teachers dressing up as the Queen as part of WOW events. We had our fantastic Black History Month exhibition yesterday, which loads of parents attended. Thank you for coming to that. We've introduced book nooks around the school. Our Year 6 ambassadors have been promoted and appointed, so they're now working as ambassadors, reading with EYFS, working on the playground, supporting at lunchtimes. We've had lots and lots of different WOW events in order to hook our children into the learning. Anything from the Year 6 Black Lives Matter protest through to Year 4 that we're making pyramids. We also have our Friday assemblies where children get certificates. And as part of that, they then are invited to an afternoon tea with myself, with biscuits and different flavoured tea, which is actually squash, but they love it. And we've also been doing some shout-outs as part of our assemblies to show gratitude to people around the school, which has been absolutely fantastic. It has been a very full term, but we have been so happy and excited to welcome and see you back on the premises. Given that COVID rates stay as low as they are at the moment, we plan to continue to do that. Before I move on to explaining different things that we've got to look forward to ready for next half term, I wanted to rewind a little bit to a parent survey that I put out at the beginning of the year that shared our school's epic priorities. As a school and part of the local authority, we need to set what's called a school development plan each year. The development plan means that you have a different priorities throughout the school that you are going to work on with all the different stakeholders. So one parent asked a really great question saying, how can you have 4 priorities? This is part of the system that we're working in. We're trying not to prioritise one in any particular subject, but we're showing that we're working on all 4 of them. So, the first one is about equity and diversity, and that is about making sure that our children feel represented. That's making sure that we're celebrating and sharing and appreciating different cultures, and most importantly, that children feel that there's going to be some kind of belonging. The second one is about play, and this is hopefully going to positively impact on the behaviour that we see within the school. So we're launching a brand new play initiative called Opal, which you may have seen shared through Class Dojo. We've shared some links of what it might look like. The idea is that it's going to be child-led, it's going to be creative, and we want our children to be daring in terms of their play, get imaginative and start playing with things rather than playing football or potentially falling out with friends in the playground. The next one is about implementation. So we have got such grand plans for our curriculum, really exciting ones that all of our middle leaders have worked extremely hard on, creating what's known an intent. That is what we're intending to teach. That work was done last year and has been really secure. This year our focus is on actually making it happen. So everything that we aim to happen is happening in the classrooms. And coming off the back of COVID, where children have been quite isolated or they've been stuck in bubbles and therefore sat down, we're trying to make sure that as many lessons as possible are active, engaging and fun. And finally, a given one is COVID catch-up. We want to put an equal emphasis on their catch-up both emotionally, academically and socially, as we feel that children really missed out on so many opportunities over the last 2 years. So sharing that with you and talking about it every day in school is going to help us to really achieve all of these different elements of the school, and any ideas are completely welcome. I mentioned earlier that we also had a parent survey. Some of the survey, people were mentioning some positive feedback, and that was really fantastic, so thank you. Some of our parents said that Class Dojo was a really great tool for communication. Parents were really happy and proud that we managed to stay open over COVID. The communication from the class teachers was really strong during lockdown. Online material was up and it was present and we were constantly learning from it. A couple of people mentioned the friendly morning welcomes. As you know, all the children come around the playground now and come in through the main doors, so they get to see lots of different faces on their way in. Some of them come and join Wake and Shake, which is fantastic. Even parents are joining in, which is even better. Email and text services were seen as a positive, as was the staggered start. When it comes to a survey, the most important thing for us is actually the next steps. So your honest feedback of what we need to do to make the school better is what we're going to then put in place to make sure that we are working with you. So the first one, more school events to be invited to. We 100% agree, and we're so excited to start inviting you to as many events as possible. The first one being the Black History Month exhibition. The next one was about clarity over our equities committee, and someone asked, why is it equities and not equality? I will come on to that later and answer that question. Some parents were saying that they want playtime to be improved and therefore behaviour will improve, school organisation, greenery in the playground, and that sense of community spirit. So I'm hoping over the next slides you will see what we're doing to start to move into the right direction, and we welcome any feedback and suggestions and support to make sure that we keep heading in that same direction. So let's have a look at what is happening next half term. It's quite a busy half term and we're hoping to get as many of you into the school as possible. So a couple of examples. We have got Parents' Evening coming up. We're really hoping to be able to invite you into the school for you to be able to meet the parents one-to-one rather than virtually. Given the COVID rates, we need to keep an eye on this, but we will update you via Dojo as soon as we know. We have got singing assemblies starting next half term. We've got a book fair coming in November. That book fair will also be up during the Parents' Evening, so you can take your children there if you wish after. We have got a recorder club starting. We're also going to be launching weekly parent workshops. So some examples of parent workshops we've got coming up are workshops for parents who want to know more about children's EHCPs, if they've got SEND needs, medical support. We've also got autism awareness, and Miss Pereira is going to be doing something on behaviour. Other things that we've got to look forward to. We have got an EYFS reading event coming up where you're going to be invited to come in and have an evening story. We've got the return of Laycock Legends. The children have been so desperate to get this back, so we're going to restart it 3 times a year, where particular children get nominated by their teacher for something legendary that they then deserve a medal. So we'll be inviting you to those assemblies when they come. Friends of Laycock have been working with us to help raise money to create sensory rooms. This has been seen as a really important tool, particularly from the community voice of the parents, of what they would like for children with either sensory or behavioural needs, where they need a place to either calm down or to stimulate in a different way. And finally, we've got our equity meeting. As you can see from this picture, equality means giving people the same starting point. The difference is with equity is that you don't look at their starting point, but you look at where they need to be. So you can see, for example, there are different boxes below each of the children to make sure that they can see over the fence. So we have recoined our equalities working group to an equity committee, and as part of equity we look at all the inequities across the school. Things of them being part of disability, deaf awareness, part of the BAME community, part of the travelling community. There are absolutely tons, and the more that we talk about it and the more that we can name it, the more that we can then put steps into process to make sure that it is absolutely sorted. Okay, a couple of changes that you need to be aware of ready for next half term. We're changing our staggered starts. The gate will now open in the morning from 8:45, but it will be closed at 9:05. The children will be dropped off like normal and come around the playground, but your child will be marked as late as of 9:06. I'm going to be stood on the front doors, so anyone who is late will be greeted by me, and I will be speaking to parents because it is absolutely vital that we work together to make sure that our children are in, ready to learn, as our maths learning starts at exactly 9:06. So please try and remember that. We will send a text out to remind you, but it is super important that we have the children in before 9:05 to make sure that their learning can be caught up as much as possible. Parents, we're really hoping that we can work together here. We know that our attendance target is 96%. We've averaged at around 92% this half term, so we've still got a fair way to go. At the end of the day, classes will come down onto the playground ready for 3:25. Our gates will be open from 3:20 until 3:40. There is a 10-minute window for you to come and collect your children. Anyone who isn't collected by 3:40 will then be taken to the late desk in the main office. If children haven't been collected by 4 p.m. and we haven't heard from anyone, a member of SLT will then step in to look after the children, but it is known as a safeguarding concern if we cannot get hold of anyone. A reminder, please know that we need to have all your contact details up to date, so if you've changed any numbers, please let the school know, and if you need a new emergency contact, it's really important that you send it through to the school as well. Other than that, we are so excited already to see everyone back next half term, but we hope that you have a really fun and relaxing and you manage to switch off for the next week, ready for an exciting and a busy half term leading up to Christmas. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Bye.